Alright, so I recently started the third season of the show Invincible, and I can confidently say that this is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Like, first of all, I have ADHD, right? I already have a hard time paying attention. This is like the most stimulating show on the entire planet. Not only is there always some crazy shit going on, there's also some other crazy shit going on, and some hidden shit going on that you don't even notice at first until you watch it back. You know? Like, this show is really fucking good. And on top of that, the writing is actually very, very good. Specifically, the fucking characters. I have never watched a show with this many interesting and good characters in my entire life. Like, you meet this one motherfucker named Allan, right? You would think this guy is the most useless, most disposable side character ever. But it turns out that this guy is quite the literal opposite. Like, I could not have been more wrong with that description. And you see this a lot throughout the show, okay? A lot of the characters at first glance look like knockoff superheroes, okay? Like the Red Rush, that's the fucking Flash. You even got a guy named Omni-Man, who's supposed to be like the Superman of this universe. But then you watch the show and you're like, holy shit! And then you keep watching and you're like, holy shit! And you just keep watching and you're just like, god damn, holy fuck! And that is my whole point. They do a very good job making their characters. And on top of all of that, the show is actually fucking hilarious. Like, it is one of the funniest shows I have seen in a while. But, yeah, either way, my whole point being is the fact that I really like this show, specifically the characters. And, you know, I already make videos on this channel ranking different characters from different movies and stuff. So why not do that again? So, yeah, with all that being said, today we are ranking the top 10 characters from the show. Alright, so first up on the list, we're starting off pretty basic, Mark Grayson. Now don't get me wrong, okay, Mark Grayson is very well written. I enjoyed having him as the main character, plus he's Asian, but it's Mark Grayson we're talking about, dude. This guy's like the most boring dude in the show. I mean, despite the fact that he's literally like the strongest dude in the entire universe, he's just this high school kid, you know, who lives a normal life, and it doesn't want to kill people, and is trying to use his power for good. You know, he's not that interesting. Like, let's be real. He's a great character, but I mean, compared to the other people in the show, this is just Mark Grayson we're talking about. And, you know, and that's fine. You know, for a character like this, the main character, that makes total sense. He's a good character. Like I said before, he's also Asian. Shout out to Debbie. He also dealt with probably the most annoying person in the show for the first half of season 1, like fucking Amber. And, you know, at first, I was actually kind of rocking with Amber. You know, I agreed with her. You know, her getting upset with Mark and not knowing that he's a fucking superhero saving the world and getting upset with him when he just flakes on her or shows up late all the time, that makes total sense. You know, I would hate if someone was always late and shit. And, you know, I'm getting kind of excited. I'm like, oh, he's gonna break the news to her. She's gonna be like, oh my god, you're invincible, what the fuck? But then you find out that she knew he was a superhero the entire time, and that just kills the entire vibe. Like, hello, what are you talking about? This motherfucker is saving the goddamn planet, and you're getting upset with him for being late to shit? You can't just cut him a break, be like, oh yeah, I forgot, he's like the one invincible motherfucker on the planet. Let me just not nag him when he's late. Like, this motherfucker Mark could have just watched a war criminal mutilate multiple innocent children, and he has to pry them from his fucking hands because he also has like 8 fucking hands because this guy's a goddamn supervillain, right? And he has to fly back home, you know, because he just left in the middle of their like cooking date, right? And he's sweating bullets, pretending as if he didn't just get traumatized from a fucking war criminal supervillain. And then Amber's bitch ass knows about it. She's probably on the news watching this motherfucker fight this evil war criminal. And then she has the audacity to be like, where the fuck were you, Mark? Huh? Why were you late again? Like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Why were you late, mother? You're dating a superhero. And then all of a sudden, Mark almost dies, and she just snaps. She's just like, all right, you know what? I'm doing it. You know, you're chilling. And then like every time Mark has to leave or whatever, she's totally chill and trying to work it out. You feel me? And I guess that's chill. But it's like, what the fuck was that? What do you mean you already knew he was a superhero and you're mad still? Like, hello? Like. Or I guess she had a point with not being trusted to know. But first of all, didn't they just start dating or something? I sound like a nerd right now. But didn't they like just start dating in the show? Like, weren't they like just talking? And on top of that, like, that doesn't give you an excuse to be a bitch when you know why he's late and stuff, dude. I feel like that's the one excuse. You know, if someone's like late constantly and you're about to drop them, and then you find out behind their back that they're a superhero saving the entire fucking planet, like, on a daily basis. I feel like that's the one time you should be like, all right, maybe I should give him a chance. Maybe I shouldn't be a bitch about this, you know? Because every other time it's totally like, why the fuck are you constantly late? Why are you flaking? You know, let me know ahead of time. But if there's a a fucking planetary threat all of a sudden. I have to drop everything, and you have to drop everything and go and kill a goddamn evil Japanese monster about to kill all of, like, London. Yeah, London. Like, I get it. It's all chill. Like, I would allow you to flake on me. I would understand that. And the fact that Eve knew the context, like, hello? What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I know this is a top 10 best characters video, but, like, what are you talking about, Eve? Get the fuck out of here. All right, that's my take on them. Alright, next up on the list, we got the clones. In my opinion, this is like the first example of characters who you really don't think much of, and then you find out they're actually way cooler than you expected. Like, first of all, they're the first villains you literally see in the beginning of the first episode, and, and they look like this. They really don't look that cool. But then you find out there's just, like, way more to them. Like, for example, they are, like, the smartest people in the entire universe when it comes to, like, cell division or some shit, like cloning people, and they end up helping that weird-ass maggot baby dude that we're gonna talk about later. And they also help, like, Angstrom Levy, the fucking brain dude, who I hate, by the way. Fuck that guy. And overall, these guys are just cool as fuck, and a great example of what I mean when I say this show just makes characters, well, I know they're from the comics and stuff, but the way they introduce them, and I don't know, this is just a good, I like these people. Like, these guys are good fucking characters, and they're interesting, and yeah. Alright, so next up on the list, we got Duplicate and Multipaul. For those of you who don't know, their superpowers are they are able to make clones of themselves, like a ton of them, and I just really like their names. That's pretty much it, plus they're Asian. I don't really get their backstory though. Like, apparently they get their powers from a family curse, and basically when they were children, they would, you know, play a bunch and make clones of themselves, and their father just went, like, fucking insane because there was just so many kids around him and he couldn't handle it. But it's like, and he ended up, like, trading them to the government so they could raise them and train them to make them superheroes and protect the Earth and shit. But it's like, fucking, why couldn't they just not clone themselves? Like, what are you talking about? Their father went insane from them being babies and clones. Like, hello? You also find out that her and her brother went down two different paths. Basically, like I said before, the government took them to study them and make them superheroes. And, you know, Duplicate, she stuck with it. She just went with the training and listened to them. But Multipaul, this motherfucker was like, nah, this is fucked up. And he decides to sneak out and leave. But then you find out, oh my god, someone's calling me, no. But then you find out later in the show that basically Multipaul, her brother, ended up joining the Order, which is a superhero criminal organization. And it's just like, hello? What the fuck do you mean joining a criminal organization is better than working with the government? Like, what, hello? Alright, so next up on the list, we got Titan. Not much to say here. For those of you who don't know, he's the dude who can turn into stone. He would be higher on this list because I really liked him, but at the same time, his character is so cliche. Like, the fucking criminal who has a daughter, and he owes some dude fucking money, so he has to work for him, or some shit like that. That's just so, like, overplayed. But it is cool how he ended up, like, beating his boss, but at the same time, like, it's also mad confusing. Like, he left that one dude to die, and, like, I also thought he died during the fight. Like, where the fuck was he? And how the fuck did he get that one teleporting guy on his side? You know, when the fuck did that happen? Speaking of, this dude is, like, the slimiest motherfucker to ever exist. Like, the amount of times he switched up on the dude he was working for, like, dude, he has no spine. He's so lucky his powers are, like, really good, just teleporting. That's so overpowered, but it's like, the fuck? Like, this guy's a loser. Fuck this dude. Alright, so next up on the list, we got Machine Head, the dude that the other guy we just talked about was working for in the beginning. As you all know, Invincible almost died trying to take him down, and Cecil ended up arresting him, but it's like, this guy's funny as shit. I love this fucking character. But I think the funniest part about this guy is the fact that his voice is just constantly auto-tuned. Like, he will make the most gruesome, brutal threats to someone's family, and his voice is in, like, the same tone and melody as some guy on, like, a White Girl House Song remix.
You think you can just punch your way out of this? I know where your family lives, and that means you work for me until I say you're fucking done.
Like, dude, I love his dialogue and the shit he says, but, like, dude, the auto-tune just tops it all off. Like, I know where your family lives. Like, dude, Alright, so next up on the list, we got Cecil. Why the fuck does everyone hate this guy? Like, I understand that he's this government hard-ass with no morals, but, like, dude, he's just doing his job. This motherfucker is in charge of protecting the entire planet from the literal universe. Of course he's gonna do whatever he can to fucking protect it from the entire goddamn universe, you know? And, you know, he's kind of, like, portrayed as this bad guy for utilizing criminals to protect the Earth after he captures them, but it's like, the motherfucker has a point. These motherfuckers are good at what they do. Why not use them to protect the planet? Why not let them right their wrongs without just wasting fucking tax dollars? Like, remember that one Malone motherfucker? The Asian dude who, like, scammed that one guy out of 100 million Bitcoin and then went on a shopping spree in Miami with, like, supercars and Birkin bags? Yeah, that kid is not behind bars. He was offered a cybersecurity job. Obviously, he had to seize all of his assets and the money he got, but the motherfucker still is not in jail. Okay, he is using his skills to protect other people. And it's like, am I the only person who sees nothing wrong with that? The entire point of prison is rehabilitation, right? Is using your skill set for good, not the definition of rehabilitation. Now listen, okay, when it comes to crimes like murder and rape and stuff, I don't think that we should let them use their skill sets for the government, you know, but this is a fucking superhero show we're talking about, all right? These guys have superpowers and they're able to kill wrongdoers, so why not utilize them in a world with fucking superheroes? You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't think Cecil is a bad guy for doing this. Also, let's talk about his backstory too. What a fucking badass. For those of you who don't know, before Cecil became like this cold-hearted military guy, he used to be like Mark. He used to not work with criminals. And he even went to jail for killing 2 criminals who were rehabilitated to work for the government. Then fast forward a little bit, he ends up becoming like the boss of the entire fucking jail as a prisoner, then gets offered a job, the one he has right now, in exchange for his life sentence, and he denies it, but then he takes it, which I guess is how he became like this cold-blooded guy. But regardless, this dude is a fucking badass. The only thing I don't fuck with is how he like trapped that one evil Viltrumite in that block. Like, really? Like, come on, really? Why are you kill the motherfucker, dude? What are you doing? Alright, so next up on the list, we got Allan the Alien. Like I said before, this is a prime example of one of the side characters in the show who you really don't think about too much at first, and then you're like, holy shit, this guy's a fucking badass. When we first meet Allan, we think he's a supervillain trying to destroy Earth, but then we find out that he's actually some guy who works for a company in space that, like, fights superheroes from other planets to make sure each planet has a superhero that is capable of defending the planet, you know? And you know, the character himself is actually really funny, but you really don't think too much of him. But then later on in the show, you hear his backstory, and you find out that his planet was actually taken over by Viltrumites, and they were almost led into extinction. But then they're like, holy shit, we are weak as fuck and almost got driven into extinction. We need to make someone who can defend us. And that is how Allan the Alien was born. He was made specifically to fight Viltrumites and be strong as fuck, and he's just a cool-ass character. And I feel like the show is absurdly nonchalant with how powerful this motherfucker really is. Like, this guy is killing Viltrumites. The motherfuckers who are supposed to be like the top, the cream of the crop, he's slamming them out. Like, how the fuck is, like, what? But, yeah, that is pretty much why Allan the Alien is on the list. First of all, he's just a cool-ass character, powerful as fuck, and, you know, you would just not expect him to be a significant character in the show, but he very much is. So, yeah, that is Allan the Alien. Alright, so last up on the list, we got the best, most well-written character in the entire Invincible show. Can I get a drum roll, please? Rexplode! If you didn't see this coming, you just did not watch the show. For those of you who don't know, Rexplode is one of the main superheroes in the show, and his superpower is to turn anything he holds into a bomb. Now, despite having probably the most boring superpowers in the entire show, and having, like, literally the worst name I have ever heard, there is a million other reasons to like Rexplode. First things first, I think we can all agree, this guy is fucking hilarious. He is by far the funniest character in the entire show. And he's also the most relatable. Like, remember that time that he found out Monster Girl had a crush on him? This was his reaction.
Oh my god, I don't even know how to feel about that. God!
Absolute facts. Like, how else would you feel about a grown woman trapped in a little girl's body who turns into a fucking ogre having a crush on? Exactly. Now listen, okay, despite Rexplode being absolutely hilarious, there's actually a different reason as to why he's the best character in the entire show. For those of you who don't know, Rexplode's entire shtick as a character is just being like the obnoxious dude. He's absurdly cocky, doesn't take anyone seriously, and always has something to say. And throughout the entire show, he just constantly acts like the biggest douchebag ever. But then fast forward to season 3, okay, we see Rex having to fight these bad guys with Duplicate and the girl who turns into a bug. Now, unfortunately, both of these girls end up dying, or not really, you think they do in the scene, and Rexplode has to watch it happen right in front of him. Then he tries to fight off the rest of the bad guys and obviously fails, and then you see what we think is Rexplode's death, where he quite literally gets shot in the fucking head. And then you watch him just lie there bleeding out as the other guy boasts on the phone about how he's gonna, like, nuke the entire world. But then Rexplode's plot armor finally kicks in, and he just gets up and beats the shit out of the dude who shot him, and then proceeds to drop the hardest line in the entire show.
I can't believe you shot me in fucking head!
But either way, the reason I'm saying all of this is because it turns out that everyone survived the fight, even these two chicks, and in the hospital, Mark was talking to Rex, and he pretty much talked about how when he got shot in the head, his entire life flashed before his eyes, and he didn't like what he saw. Basically, he realized that his entire life he has just been a complete douchebag and treats everyone like shit, and getting shot in the head and almost dying showed him that he needs to change. And pretty much throughout the rest of the show, you just watch Rex make a conscious effort to change the way he acts and not be a dick towards everyone, and then finally, he literally goes out with a bang when he realizes his team is in danger and the only way to save them is to sacrifice himself and explode his own skeleton, which is exactly what he does.
You're out of shit to explode.
I've got one thing left.
Mm-hmm. And what's that?
My entire goddamn skeleton, dickhead.
Like, you are not gonna sit here and tell me that is not the hardest exit of any character in the entire show. Like, this motherfucker went from a cocky, arrogant asshole who cheats on his girlfriend with her literal fucking teammate to sacrificing himself for the greater good of his team. Okay, that right there is character development. Alright guys, I just finished editing and oh my god, I haven't edited that like for so long, so straight and that many times. Oh my, my brain's not even working, so yeah, I was just sitting at my desk for so fucking long. Either way, that's gonna be the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Be on the lookout for top 10 worst Invincible characters, because I will be making an episode of that. But, yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope I educated at least one of you. Comment down below your favorite Invincible character and why. And, yeah, sub to my channel, join the Discord, buy a fucking hoodie. God damn, I'm so... Alright. Bye!
Pooh Shicey, that's my dog. But Pooh, you know I'm really